Welcome to Unlocking the Power of CRM and Marketing Automation using Birst BI Analytics, a web-based session presented by Eagle Creek Software Services and Birst. I'm Kathy Booten, and I'll be today's moderator. At this time, I'd like to introduce our panel. We have with us today Terry McNicholas, VP SaaS for Eagle Creek, Stacy Verdone, Director at Birst, Karn Johal, Product Specialist at Birst, followed by Mark Townsend and Andrew Suppan, our Marketo and SaaS specialists from Eagle Creek. With that, let me hand it over to you, Terry.
Thank you, Kathy. Good morning, everyone. I'm Terry McNicholas. Firstly, I would just like to take 2 minutes to cover who Eagle Creek is, for those of you that don't know us. We are a software services company. We were founded in 1999. And initially, we specialized in CRM systems, customer relationship management systems. We started out working with Siebel and Clarify systems, large-scale on-premise CRM systems. And then over the years, we've extended our application portfolio to cover marketing automation systems, business intelligence, data warehouse systems, and more recently, custom application development. Again, our foundation was working with on-premise systems, large-scale enterprise systems. And then more recently, we've embraced the software as a service, the cloud concept of applications. And so Salesforce, CRM on demand from Oracle, Birst, and Marketo are examples of the applications that we are now include within our software as a service practice. As a company, we have over 300 consultants, coming up to 350, I believe now. And over the years, we've delivered more than 4.5 million consulting hours, working with in over 4,000 projects, serving many, many customers. And just give you a flavor of some of the customers that we've worked with over the years. Some of the names you will certainly recognize, large-scale, enterprise, global, some small systems, some small customers in there too. But just a sampling of some of the customers that we've worked with across our various business practices. And the majority of these are CRM-oriented customers. I believe some of you are present today, or certainly have registered for the webinar today. So with our 300 plus consultants, with the many customers that we've worked with, we also work with technology partners, and again, prominent amongst those are the three that we're focusing on today: Birst, Salesforce, and Marketo. But not forgetting that we also have very close ties and technology partnerships also with Informatica, both the traditional Informatica integration tool as well as the new cloud Informatica cloud tool, and of course Oracle with our Siebel CRM specialist Gold partner relationship and CRM on demand implementation work as well. Now, those are our 5 key partners. As a company, we deliver projects to our customers. We believe that certainly in the realms of CRM marketing automation, we have a unique onshore local sourcing delivery model, which we'll talk a little bit more about later. But essentially, we have project centers spread around the USA, and we have on-site consultants. And so the combination of both enables us to deliver a very effective, a cost-effective solution to our customers. But as I said, we'll cover a little bit more about that after the demo. So at this stage, I'm going to pass over to Stacy Verdone, who's director at Birst, and she's going to explain what the Birst system is all about. Stacy.
Thank you, Terry. Hi, everyone. Again, I'm Stacy Verdone. I'm the Director of Alliances. Eagle Creek is our champion partner. We definitely work with them end-to-end. They know our solution very well as working with Marketo and Salesforce. It's a great partnership and solution that they deliver for us. Just a little bit about Birst and who we are. We are the #1 cloud BI provider out there. And why we are the #1 is because we provide the end-to-end solution, all made in the cloud. We provide your BI, data visualizations, your reporting, as well as your ETL and your data warehouse. And no matter what line of business you're in, and no matter what vertical you're in, we help those organizations. Our founders are Brad Peters and Paul Stalin. They actually were the founders of Siebel Analytics. They created the solution, and then Oracle came and acquired the company, and then they went and created the organization called Birst. And we are very excited. This year we debuted on the Magic Quadrant, It's been a decade since Gartner has taken any solution and placed them right at challengers. They usually start at visionary, niche player, and move up the rankings. However, they saw our solution, worked with our engineers and our organization, and found that out of 14 functional areas, they found that we were very successful and placed us in the Challengers Quadrant. We're very proud of this. We're the new darling on the Magic Quadrant. We got the cool factor going on, as well as what is the most important to us is our customers. We pride ourselves with our customers. We have customer success managers that oversee every single project with our partners and our customers to assure that we are an end-to-end great solution for that organization. And just so you understand how Birst looks at every organization, how we go to market is, we see every single business runs all these applications. So again, whatever line of business you're in, whatever department you're in, you have all these applications that help run your organization. We found that there's so much information that's rich within these applications, and tying it all together is just tedious. And now with social media and all the tweeting that's going on, companies are trying to get ahead of the game to identify what people are saying about their companies and how they are able to get the right people to come work for them, as well as getting the right messaging out there. It's how Birst looks at every business. They're unique to every operation they use, every process they use, every application, and then tying all those unique objects together. So what Birst does very well is we analyze your business applications, and then when Karin's going to demonstrate our solution, the secret sauce is the Birst Information Manager. So he will review with you how we connect all these applications together and deliver all the visualizations out to your dashboards and your reporting needs. Just a little bit about the architecture. So we do have 3 offerings, the private cloud, the public cloud, and the appliance. And what makes us unique is we actually help connect all those data sources, and we help actually create this unified logical model that helps provide the semantic layer that you need to connect all your data sources and load all the data through the automation of our data warehouse. And then we deliver those sandboxes for those types of users, and then no matter what type of information you need, your dashboards, your ad hoc, your reports, and your predictive analytics, we tie it all together, we automate all those processes, and then your delivery methods are out there for whatever users and how they want to use it. And again, we have 3 options, the private cloud, public cloud, as well as the appliance. And we just want to show you here is we are unparalleled in whatever deployment you want. So we have the Birst Cloud, the Birst Appliance, as well as Birst and Redshift. We have a great technology partnership with Amazon Redshift, as we do with Salesforce and Marketo. And just to show you that how much data you have, terabytes of data, Amazon Redshift, it's a great solution to be able to utilize with the Birst solution. So we can scale up and out. And this just shows you that there's so many technologies that are out there and functionality in the big BI vendor space, that's traditional BI, and then we have the speed and agility with the data discovery tools that are out there. Well, Birst does the end-to-end. We provide the functionality as well as the speed and agility with one solution called Birst. And just to tie it all together, how we do it, the way it's done, and how you get the information. We do provide the complete end-to-end solution with the enterprise reporting and the predictive analytics that you need with all the BI framework that we have from end-to-end. It's a very smart solution, how you tie all the questions together to get your visualizations in the compelling way we deliver that information to you. The logical layer that we have is strong, solid, provides the semantic layer you need to give you the analytics that connect all your data and your business together to get the meanings out of that information. It's fast, rapid, and you get your answers in seconds. The automation of the data warehouse is very big with us. We automate all those processes, take all that raw data that you have, no matter what data source you have, no matter what application, we tie it all together and get your analytics ready. It's very agile, it's fast, deployment, response to the business changes for those users that are continually having to go to IT asking for that information. They're able to ad hoc it themselves. So it's smart, fast, and agile, and that's how we deliver that. And just want to showcase some of our customers, no matter if you're a cloud-based solution, OEM embedding our solution, mid-market type of solution, or an enterprise solution, we help those customers end-to-end. Again, no matter what line of business you're in and what vertical you're in, it's not relevant to us. We work end-to-end.
Thank you very much, Stacey. Karin, you should now be presenter, and what we're going to look at now is taking what you've just learned from Stacey and how to physically use the Birst tool to create a business model and data warehouse.
I love the way Stacey talks about it, because there's some things that she highlights there which are super powerful. I mean, in my background and doing BI, Birst has given me the ability to do multiple roles. So if you've ever done a BI project or had an analytics need, a lot of times you're going to hear companies talk about all the different roles in a project, like the DBA role, the ETL person, the data modeler, the report writer, the business analyst, the BI dashboard developer. What I'm going to show you here is a little bit of how Birst works, and really a case of me wearing all those hats in one screen, in one login. Okay, so what you're seeing here is Birst. Okay, it's a browser-based application, and by that, I'm not going to suddenly sneak in a client. This is all done through a web app. In this case, I'm using IE, but it supports Chrome, Safari, and so on. And what you're seeing here are spaces. Each of these are analytics environments. They're all areas that I've built solutions before, and you can see I've got a breadth of retail solutions, crime analysis, and what I'm going to do here is build a brand new space which is involving Salesforce data and other data sources as well, depending on how I feel. So I'm going to create a new space, and I have options in Birst. I can kind of go with a very simple view where, hey, my data is there, I just want to look at it and do some analysis against it. But often this is going to hit a wall in about 2 or 3 weeks' time where I want to do some rich analysis. And so I'm going to avoid that wall from day one and start with a full-featured version of Birst. From my point of view, being trained on this is still a 5-day exercise. So it's not as though you're making something super complex straight away. So I'm going to create a Salesforce and that analytics environment, because this is what my business is asking for. They're asking for a way of looking at their Salesforce data, which is richer than they currently have. Okay, what you're seeing here is, by the way, again, browser-based. So what you just saw was the full install of the solution you need, including the components to bring in the data, model the data, and write extract, transformation, loading logic to put it into a data model, processing the data, and then building reports and sharing it out with the rest of my community, all in one screen, all very easy to do. So let's do this. Normally I would pull in data as a flat part, but I'm feeling confident today. I'm going to go with the Salesforce pull, because I know I've got a Salesforce system out there. As you can see, just a regular website. I've got a password that allows you to connect to it, and I've got ability to log into that site. What that means is that this is actually doing a call into my Salesforce environment and showing me all the objects that I have available to me, including any custom objects I've built. Basically, what this login can see in Salesforce, I can get at from here. So the top 2 ones that almost every account I know wants is the account and the opportunity tables, which I can easily find here. And I could actually do stuff here where I could pull in either the whole object, which I'm doing here, or write a query. If you're familiar with SQL, the Salesforce object query language, you can absolutely write that kind of query to pull in the same data and bring it into the Birst environment. And I can set this up to be on a schedule, to run as frequently as I want, or as slow as I want. But it's a very easy way of bringing in data and bringing it back to this space where now I've brought in that data, I can view it in my data flow view. So these are the objects I brought in. If you remember, I checked 2 boxes. One was account, one was opportunity. And I can actually do a look at the data here and say, yep, here's all the account objects I wanted. Let me look at the raw data I brought in. Absolutely, this is it in this set. Clearly, I'm not using all my Salesforce fields. I can even define a relationship between the account and the opportunity if I wanted to. Now, what I could do here is actually hit a button and generate a model that allows me to do analysis, which is 1 click away in Birst. Now, I don't have to hit that button. Actually, let's do this. I've got Salesforce data, but very rarely is Salesforce my single system. I often have extra data. This is opportunities. What if I could get the forecast information that I have available to me in my flat file spreadsheet, which I update every month, and have that available for reporting as well? Okay, and the time it takes me to describe what I want to do, I'm able to bring it in and have it showing in my Birst environment right here. Now, of course, I've got to actually establish the fact that, hey, this forecast data is at an account level, so I can actually do a join between these 2. And I can actually define things within these sources, which allow me to establish the data warehouse relationships that I'd want to establish. So for example, I could do something which says, actually, let's do this. Let me go back and hit my update button. Because what I'm doing here really are the things that a data modeler would have done, right? The DBA would have got the data and built my data warehouse. The data modeler is the person that would say, yeah, I've got it, but I wish you want to define concepts of facts and dimensions and slowly changing feature functionality. But Birst is giving you that same power, but all happening within a single login within one browser. That's really where the power of Birst is. It's enabling you to do the things that you're used to seeing, but doing it in one place. So now I've established my model. I've established my what we call a star schema of facts and dimensions. I'm ready to process, right? Simple as that. And while this is processing, I can quickly show you another feature here, which is maybe this data isn't ready for me to join. Maybe I wanted to create some kind of additional scripted source, which has additional business rules and logic applied. I have that available right here. Yeah, Birst also gives you ETL capabilities. And my background was actually, I used to work for one of the big, well, I used to work for DataStage, the IBM-owned ETL company, and I've yet to come across a script type logic that I used to be able to do in that, six-figure tool into that I can't do in Birst. Okay, it's that powerful. Let me just go back. By the way, I wanted to show that I wasn't hiding anything because you can tell it ran in basically a couple of seconds to process it. This is all running on our servers, right? So this is all in heavyweight development environments, ready for you to scale up and support the data needs that you want. That's me as the admin. There's so many other things I could show there, but with the time I've got, I also want to jump over and now show you life as a developer, right? So I'm switching hats. You don't have to know all of that back end in order to do the development work as a reporter, but sometimes it helps, right? But as a developer, you know what you're going to see here because Birst is not reinventing, okay? What we're giving you is a canvas that you can paint on, objects to pick. So for example, I brought in my expected amount here, right? And I also brought in my my by year quarter, for example, right? And I can do a nice little analysis here. I can actually also bring in, if I wanted to, my forecast amount, which is the other number. This is just standard reporting, right? But I've also got ways in Birst to format things, right? I can do things like I can sort this data set, but I can also go all the way up to saying, let me make this visual, make it a nice little chart, right? Let me hide the fact that I've got a table because there's no need to show the table when you've got a nice, clearly better visual here. This is a classic need, right? People want to look at their data by state and they want to just get an idea of maybe the amount of opportunities they've got per state, right? So let me look at my expected amount and just do a count of those, right? This is a great set. Now, why not have the ability to put that in a geomap, right? This is the classic thing where when I first came on board at Birst, this was my wow moment because this is available out of the box. No additional license fee. Having the ability to just create a very quick and easy mouse-driven generation of a geomap. In this case, I'm dealing with ID codes because it's two-letter codes, and I'm dealing with my United States. And there you go. Okay, a geomap in about 2 minutes or less. So suddenly you can. This allows people who are using Birst to think different about what they want to do with their data, right? Now, there's so many other things I could do at this report level, but one of the things I want to jump over to is actually start talking about life as somebody who's putting this on a dashboard, right? So putting this in an environment you can share, because I could build a whole library and share them, but better yet, why not put it in a way that has people, that gives people a nice simple UI. Okay, so now I've switched over on my geomap, and then I can put in my little billing state. By the way, the fact that it's called billing state is something which across the board in Birst, you don't have to stick with what the technical name of the field that came in as. You can absolutely make it into something that makes sense. You can even do some real powerful things where, depending on which department is using Birst, they can be seeing their own view. So one might see it as customer, another will see it as client, right? Look here, okay, this is a dashboard that's ready to share. I could actually send this out. I could either print it and send it, or even give people links to send them an email. Now, of course, I send this email, that person's going to have to be able to log into Birst in order to be able to view the dashboard. But you'll even have the option here of putting it embedded as a Salesforce tab, which means that somebody could log into Salesforce and see the same dashboard in the same way they see all the other tabs. But there's also some real other powerful features I can show in here, right? For example, you can build this solution so quickly, but you can also adjust it super quickly. Here's a good example. I can filter, but clicking here does nothing. So why not change this around a bit and say that actually, let's make it so that people can drill. So I'm going to click on designer mode. I am going to change the setting. Again, this is something which is standard in our 2-day dashboard designer part of the Birst training. Let me save this. Okay, and while I'm here, this is a great example where somebody may ask me, oh, I wish I could drill down. And what I would do is often come back with that +1. I'm going to give you the ability to not only do that, but also be able to download this line chart in Excel, right? And not just that. So let's have a look now what we've got. So I've got the ability to look at, let's say, California. I can filter and it shows me it. Didn't want that to happen. I want it so that I can change it. And again, imagine that. You've got things like this where you're used to hearing somebody say, oh, give me a day and then I'll correct it for you, rather than have somebody be able to change it in front of you. And not only that, you've got the ability in Birst to do things like change it yourself. So I've got like this line chart. I could actually bring up a mini version. This is me as an end user. The ability to bring up this view, which allows me to look at things like other fields that I might want to bring into this same chart, right? You've also got lots of the other intuitive stuff that you didn't ask for before, like let me say, hey, instead of doing it as clicking here everywhere, what about if I click on here? What if I click on this peak and see where did that come from? Notice this is filtering, right? So my sales in Q4 did not come in from this state. Or if I look down to this week, right, I can filter across the two charts and yet have an intuitive navigation all the time, okay? This is Birst, right? Now, what I'm going to do is actually, this is all built of three sources, right? Now, Salesforce, as we know, has got a lot more sources than 3. But there are, what we found, are probably about 30 sources, which are standard, that a lot of customers are going to want to hit. Not above and beyond account opportunities, there's things like the user, contacts, and so on. So what we've done in Birst is we've put together an accelerator. And that accelerator model looks like this. It's kind of scary. I'm glad I'm not the one that has to develop it, but I have developed solutions that are equivalent. But the main thing here is this is kind of like a zoomed out view of a star schema, which you can see right here, right? And all the logic that goes into building that star schema. Now, one of the great things in Birst is that you can go either way. You can either start with a blank slate and build a solution that is potentially this, or you can go the other way around and start with this end state solution, turn on and off the features and functions that you would want. And with that in mind, Eagle Creek have actually done something really cool, which is they took our baseline template and they've been using it. They've built a level of expertise which is frankly above and beyond anything that I've got to show you this in detail. So what I'm going to do is hand it back to Terry and co. And guys, feel free to talk about a bit more about the accelerator and especially how you've augmented it over the past few weeks.
Thank you very much, Khan. Thank you for that excellent presentation and detail. Hopefully it hasn't scared too many people off. It's obviously very fast, and we can address more questions in a few minutes' time once we cover the next section. So thank you for that, Khan. I'm going to introduce now Mark Townsend and Andy Supan, two of our Marketo and SaaS specialists from Eagle Creek. And what we're going to do is build on what Karen has just shown you. And Karen mentioned the Salesforce Accelerator. So we've incorporated that. We've put that into our production sandbox environment. And we've then extended that star schema that was created by bringing in Marketo information, Marketo data marketing lead information. And just as leading up to that, I'm going to ask Mark Townsend to just set out the business case. Why would we want to do that? Why would an organization want to bring in marketing automation data, marketing data, along with Salesforce data? So over to you, Mark.
Thanks, Terry. Let's take a look at some of the requirements that we're hearing from our customers and how to solve them with CRM, marketing automation, and Birst. By now, we all know that in order for marketing to participate in the conversation about revenue, the marketing automation suite in use needs to be able to accurately document program influence and also marketing's impact on pipeline and revenue. The tools also need to be able to give sales real-time visibility to what's going on in the campaign, and also the ability to give feedback back to marketing in flight so programs can be optimized. And more importantly, in the early stages of the buyer journey, marketing may need to protect the buyer from product-specific content. And a way to do that is to keep the early stage leads out of the tool used by sales for the middle and late stage of the revenue cycle. Next slide, Terry. Now, let's go over sales requirements. They live in the CRM, and for that matter, so does all the pipeline, opportunity, and revenue data. This is why we sync all the program data to the campaign object. By doing so, we can then relate it to the opportunity and revenue data and produce that all-important reporting, documenting marketing source pipeline and a program's opportunity influence. Now, from my experience, the key to sales and marketing alignment is to give sales real-time visibility to the responders in a program. But more importantly, they need to have the ability to reassign those responders to a resource that's going to be responsible for following up with them and taking an action. Or, and this is really kind of where we've hit a snag a lot over the previous years, if that responder is not yet in the CRM, sales needs to have the visibility of who that person is, and then a process to go ahead and push that person into CRM to go ahead and trigger the auto assignment rules that exist. So that's really kind of like, Karn talked about a little bit of a magic. This is kind of, I think, what we're bringing to the table. Next slide, Terry. Right. So what Birst does, and I really want to stress this, is that it's going to go ahead and do an extraction from both databases, the marketing automation tool and the CRM. Okay. And then it's going to use the data warehouse to join the data and publish it in drillable dashboards that exist in the CRM via single sign-on. So you're, just to go over that again, because it is very, very important, what you're able to do is have, and I can't, I've been asked this question maybe 100 times. How can I report on leads in Salesforce that are not yet in Salesforce? So this tool actually does give you the ability to do that. Now, it goes many steps farther than that, as Karn mentioned. First of all, solves the other problem, which is giving sales touches based on their territory. So with the geomaps and geolocators, what you can do is then you can go ahead and plot the responders to a program on a map. And then you can make that map drillable, and then you can drill to the data. And then more importantly, after you drill to the data, you can then drill back into Salesforce. And then following up on what I mentioned earlier, what you can also do from that experience in the data is with sales having to do just 1 or 2 clicks, they can go ahead and take a lead that's down in Marketo and trigger the sync up into Salesforce, which then triggers the auto assignment rules, and then about a New York minute later, that lead they own, which wasn't even in Salesforce before they started interacting with the data in Birst, up in Salesforce via single sign-on. So that's kind of the overview. I think now it's a good time to go ahead and take a look at our production, our sandbox instance of Salesforce, and look at some of this power and do a live demo.
All right, thank you, Mark. So at this stage, I'm going to make Andy presenter, and we should be able to take it from there. So over to you, Andy.
All right. Thanks a lot, Terry. So as you can see here, I'm just I'm just cruising. I've logged into Salesforce, and then you can see my orientation in Salesforce. I'm a marketing ops person, so I've got my Marketo tab, I've got my Birst tab, I've got campaigns and dashboards. For this demo, I'm going to go ahead and just click on the Birst space. And again, I haven't done anything except for logged into Salesforce. And then what it does is it goes ahead and calls the dashboard that's been set in Birst based on what my user profile is down in Birst. So I have the user profile to go ahead and see the dashboard about a program that Eagle Creek has been doing with Gartner in second half of 2013. And I've got a couple graphics here that I can start with. I really like the idea of going from big to small with the geomap, so we've made that one the emphasis. And as you can see, we're showing all of the responders that we have overlaid on a big map in Birst. So I kind of look at my territory, which is Arizona, and I'm going to go ahead and click on that. Right, so now I get into drill down into the data that's specific to Arizona. I can take a look at who's there, and then I can decide, which leads I want to go ahead and access, and I can click on one of those, click on one of the people that again, is in a Birst report. And now I'm out of Birst, and I'm back into Salesforce, and I'm on that leader contact. So I can go ahead and say, you know what, I want to work this, or no, I don't want to work this, or who's working this, or look at any of the other rich data that's on this lead and decide what the activity is going to be with Craig, whether I'm going to do it or I'm going to, I could use Chatter to create a conversation about Craig. I can now just start to use the, the architecture that exists inside the CRM. Now, also what I could do is if I had clicked on Craig and he wasn't yet in Salesforce, what that would have done is just taken me to a Marketo page with a form on it, which would have pre-filled with Craig's email address, and it would have just asked me, what do you want Craig's new lead status to be? And I would just change it from raw or whatever it was to a sales accepted lead, and then that would go ahead and on the back end push Craig up into Salesforce, and the auto assignment rules would trigger in Salesforce, and then Craig would get assigned to the appropriate sales development rep or account owner or whatever based on the existing auto assignment rules in Salesforce. So thanks, Andy. Let's go back out to the dashboard and take a little bit about the opportunity info. So again, now what I've done here is I've built a report, and I've said, I want to look at the opportunity influence related to the Marketo programs that we've done with Gartner starting in June, and I've got a report that shows me all the opportunities that are associated with this program, and I can go ahead and drill into it. So that's my first step in the drill path is usually a visualization. Then I come to my second step, which is going to be data in Birst, which can be configured by the user using the different widgets, and then I can go ahead and drill back into Salesforce on which opportunity I want to look at. Because anywhere where you see a link right there, what it's doing is taking me from the Birst report that's being viewed via single sign-on inside of Salesforce back into Salesforce for action. So then I could go ahead and take a look at this opportunity, see what I want to do. And then it allows me to relate how many opportunities are coming from a program. All right, Andy, so let's go back out and let's look at another one that we built. I like this one. Really interesting to go ahead and start to use, get away from the historical conversation around opens and clicks and start to look at responders and overlaying a couple different metrics like, what exactly level of engagement did they have with the program? And then maybe overlay on top of them, what's their lead status? Is it a sales accepted lead? And then, so then maybe now you've got a couple different metrics where you're saying, all right, well, I'm only looking at certain responded statuses. I only want them in the report if they were, their lead status shows that they were sales accepted. And then I want to just take that group of people and plot what my cost per sales accepted lead that responded to these programs or this program is. And then I want to push that back up into Salesforce, and that starts to pay off on what I was saying a little bit earlier about marketing being able to enter the discussion about a revenue, because they can say, well, our cost for a sales accepted lead of this program versus that program is much less or much more, and this can start to drive that conversation. So click onto that report for me, Andy. Same things we saw before. Now I can go ahead and I can look at a filtered list of people that were responders to my campaigns, but that are also sales accepted. And then I can, then if I want to, I can go ahead and drill into the data back into Salesforce. Now, at this point, if there was for some reason somebody that was that wasn't yet in the right object in Salesforce or wasn't even in Salesforce, it's still going to be just a couple clicks for me to go ahead and click it. It's going to push me over to the Marketo page with a form on it. Then I'm going to change the lead status of whoever it is that's not yet in the CRM for me to have take action with. And then on the back end, there's going to be a sync, and that person's going to hit the lead assignment rules and become a lead in the lead object or get attached to the appropriate account if they should be a contact. All right, so back to Birst again, Andy. All right, so I really briefly just wanted to go over some of the out-of-the-box reporting that comes with the accelerator pack that we bring out there, and then Terry, you're going to join me in this too as well. So let's just click on sales overview. You can get information on different funnel type stuff, how much of where opportunities are. Let's go to pipeline analysis.
Yeah, thanks, Mark. So what we've just seen is some of the specific customizations that we've done to the accelerator, to the Salesforce accelerator component from Birst. We've added in the Marketo components. We've used the Marketo connector that Birst supplies, added those in and brought the two together. So we expanded out the data model for the purposes of building those reports. The Salesforce accelerator pack, the advanced accelerator pack that we've got there, these some of the tabs that you're looking at there are just typical sales type reports, just purely focused on Salesforce, and these are the ones that we then take and build out. And again, some typical types of reports and information that people are looking at: average size of deal, pipeline by opportunity type, pipeline funnel stages. If we look at the win rate analysis or the sales rep performance reports, again, you get a similar flavor for the types of things. And again, each of these we can drill down into the detail and then from there delve further into the Salesforce. So what Birst brings to the table there is an enhancement to the Salesforce reporting capabilities. Many people want many users of Salesforce, or indeed other CRM systems, because again, we're not just confined to Salesforce here, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But Salesforce is a CRM system. Some companies have Siebel and Salesforce, and again, Birst is ideally positioned to pull in and extract data from both CRM systems, maybe running field service and customer data in Siebel, and then running pure sales data in Salesforce. Again, it's not an unusual situation amongst our customer base particularly. So that gives you a flavor for the types of things that can be done using Birst in conjunction with Salesforce and Marketo. So again, if you can change back to me, please, Kathy, as presenter. I know we're hitting the limits now on time, and what I'd like to do is just to summarize what we've done today and what you've seen. Again, it's been a very frantic 45 minutes that we've covered so far, but that's the solution: bringing together the Salesforce, the CRM data with marketing data into a tool enabling to consolidate and report on it. So hopefully by now you've got a good feel for who Birst are and for what the Birst tool is capable of. You've seen a live demonstration, and thankfully to Mark and Andy and Karen, that all went smoothly. Thank you very much, guys. We've taken a blank piece of space and built a functioning data warehouse in it, and then we've shown you how to extend the accelerator model and build some meaningful reports to address the CRM and marketing automation issues. So it's now time for Q&A, and I'm going to start it off but why Eagle Creek Software Services? Why would you want to look at Eagle Creek and Birst in conjunction with your needs in this area? So 2 slides. We're the #1 in onshore domestic IT outsourcing. We have been doing this for over 8 years. A delivery model, I talked about it earlier, balancing price, quality, risk of delivery for whether it's application implementations or whether it's custom development or business intelligence data warehouse deployments. We have been running this model. We're pioneers in the US for onshore domestic IT outsourcing. We have existing project centers in Minneapolis, where our headquarters is, in North Dakota, which was our very first offsite onshore domestic outsourcing project center. South Dakota, we actually have 2 in South Dakota now, one in Pierre, the capital of South Dakota, and another one just opened up. We broke ground on it a while ago. We now have about 30 consultants there in Vermilion, and that's expected to grow significantly over the next couple of years. And we're about to announce 2 additional project centers, one in North Carolina and another one in Arizona. So Eagle Creek's pioneering efforts have paid dividends, and we're expanding our offerings in that area. And the reason it's been successful is because in-house staff, they'll have outsourced providers of services domestically as well as offshore. And so we believe we're very strongly positioned to be the local component of that. The other reason for Eagle Creek as our focus, we don't do everything. As I said, even in CRM, we focus very clearly on Salesforce and the Siebel offerings, whether it's the Siebel on-premise or the CRM on demand. We're very limited in our areas of marketing automation. We obviously work with the inbuilt marketing tools in the CRM systems, but in terms of marketing automation tools like Marketo, we just do Marketo. We don't do the others. And we do those things. We just do a few things. We do them well, but we also do them really well. And finally, we've got 14 years and counting of experience in doing this, delivering applications and working with our customers. Just 2 more slides. Finally, industry recognition of our pioneering activities in the area of domestic onshoring. And I'll leave you with this slide from Gartner. Gartner have done a lot of research in this area. You see some of the white papers. They're on our website. If you can't find them, or if you want to, we'll send them to you separately. But when Gartner's looking at this whole move to domestic onshoring of IT services, they've put down a whole number of factors there about what customers should look for. So, for example, competitive rates. There's no way a US domestic onshore IT provider can be dollar for dollar competitive with offshore. It's just not going to happen. But the fact that we built the onshore project centers, we can be very, very competitive, and the true cost, the net effective rate for US domestic onshore outsourcing can be very, very close to what can be achieved with offshore. And then there's all the other factors that need to be considered. And if we think about Eagle Creek, I mean, we have our project centers in the Dakotas. It provides us with a low cost structure. As excellence in the technical workforce, we've got a catchment area. We pull in strong IT people from the local universities, from the surrounding states in the Midwest. People who want to be there. And we've got a very high employee retention as a result of that. 93, 94% employee retention. And more importantly, we're only 1 or 2 time zones away from all of our customers here in the US. You've got all my contact detail on the screen there. Despite my accent, I'm based in Colorado. I'm based in Denver, Colorado, and Karen is in San Francisco, California, as is Mark. So we're around the country. If you need any questions, follow up, please don't hesitate. Drop us an email, give me a call, and we can get talking. Thanks again for your time this morning. Very much appreciated.